This is Shelley Craft coming to you live on SNNLive. We're at the SeeThruEquity MicroCap Investor Conference, New York City, 2014. I have with me Michael Watts of Hydrocarb. It's a publicly traded company, and the symbol is HECC. Mike, welcome to SNNLive.
Nice to be here, Shelley.
It's good to have you. So tell us about Hydrocarb.
Well, Hydrocarb is a small oil and gas company located out of Houston, Texas. We have domestic production in the Texas area in Galveston Bay. We actually own 4 fields in Galveston Bay, and that domestic production is our engine. And with that engine, we produce cash to then do international exploration in Africa. It's kind of a different model from a lot of oil and gas companies, but our overall picture is to find a lot of gas, a lot of oil is the big deal, and make a lot of money.
So you're really a producer and an exploration company.
That is correct. It's a little different model. A lot of the international exploration just does that, international exploration. We decided that the model makes more sense, that here domestically in the United States, there's a lot of opportunity with old oil fields where you can go back in, recomplete them, start up your cash flow engine, and you don't have the exploration risk that you will in other areas. However, we also think that the international exploration, specifically in Africa, is a fantastic opportunity. Africa is 4 times the size of the United States, and the way we look at it, it's like going back to Texas 100 years ago and say, where would we like to put an oil and gas exploration project? If you could have done that, the amount of money you could have made, it would have been spectacular. That's what's happened in Africa. Nobody has looked at it. Nobody knows what's going on there. And it's, like I said, 4 times the size of the United States, and I just don't believe that God decided to put oil every place but Africa.
Where in Africa?
We're in a country called Namibia. Now, most people, it's a very good question, because originally most people sit there and go, I wonder if Africa is a safe place. Namibia is a first world country in a third world continent. It's very safe. It has only about 2 million people, has 2 million tourists that come through there a year. It's where you see those nice 2,000-foot sand dunes on the Skeleton Coast. You have cheetahs. You have a lot of zebras. There's more zebras there probably than people. But it is a very, very first-run English. English is the government language, official language, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful opportunity.
Now, let's talk about the management team of Hydrocarb. Tell me about it, and what qualifies them to be African-bound?
Well, our management team is extremely experienced. My brother, Kent Watts, is the CEO. He ran an African exploration company called Hyperdynamics in 1996. It's traded on the New York. He sold out of that position a number of years ago. I also sold out of that position a number of years ago, and our family basically funded this. In addition to that, we have our president is Chuck Domer. Craig Alexander is one of our operations guys, both of them 30 years plus experience. Chuck Domer has literally been all over the world. He ran Lukoil Siberian oil fields in the 1990s and took them from 1,500 barrels a day to over 80,000 barrels a day. He's drilled the deepest wells ever drilled offshore Israel. Pasquale Scoturo is one of our consulting agents. He lives in Africa, actually works with us. Toby Apaninde is vice president there. We have offices in Windhoek, so we're very deeply rooted. It's not our, as I like to say in Texas, it's not our first rodeo.
That might have been a good question to ask you. So now, where do you see 2015? And let's be frank. The price of oil right now isn't encouraging anybody to start drilling. But why are you getting so active if you're not going to be influenced by a lower price in oil?
Well, I take a kind of contrarian view. In my mind, out of chaos arises opportunity. Opportunity that we might not see if the oil was still at $105 or $110 a barrel. A lot of deals that were marginal, maybe the tar sands, fracking, some of the horizontal shale plays, things of those nature don't quite have the bloom on the rose that they once did. We don't concentrate in that. We're going after huge reserves in a country where they just hadn't been looked at. It's like I said before, it's like going to Texas 100 years ago, and we have a concession that is the size of New Jersey. And most Americans don't get their minds around the scope of what we're talking about. But if you could take New Jersey and say, I want it over Spindletop and the East Texas oil fields. Spindletop came in 100 years ago doing 100,000 barrels a day. And that kind of opportunity is there in Africa, and you don't see that in the U.S. You see our technology, God bless the United States, our technology has created the sand plays, has created fracking, has created the shale plays. All of those are wonderful, but it's a lot better just to be able to put a simple hole in the ground and it just comes gushing out in a very heavy way. That's the opportunity. We like it.
When do you expect to start drilling in Africa?
Our drilling schedule will be a number of years yet. Our company is not unlike a drug company. I know I'm going all over the world, but a lot of Americans need to have something they can relate to. And you see drug companies, what they'll do, they have a cure for cancer. Well, we have this massive asset in Africa, and the numbers are almost so big that if I actually told you what I thought, my credibility might be going on the line. But they're very large. So you have this, like a drug company has this cure for cancer. But the difference is we're over on the sides here and domestically selling aspirin to help pay for that development. And so what happens with the drug company when they have a cure for cancer, they get to a certain point in time, and then the Eli Lillys, the Pfizers, the large drug companies come in and say, okay, we're going to buy you out, we're going to do this, we'll do a 20, you'll get 20 or 30% royalty on some marketing fee, it's our puppy, goodbye. And that's the way the oil business works. The small guys are the ones that find the new frontiers, and then they bring in the larger companies behind that in order to do the development. So to answer your question, when we're going to be doing that, we'll probably be bringing in some partners within the next, I'd say, 18 months to 2 years. It could be next week. We talk to people all the time. So when that exactly happens is a little bit difficult to do, but it gets real interesting real quick after that point.
So now, for more information, what's your website?
Our website is hydrocarb.com.
Where does the name hydrocarb.com? Where does hydrocarb come from?
Hydrocarb is hydrocarbons. Okay. So hydrocarbons is oil and gas. It's little organic materials for which creates oil and gas and methane and so forth, which is used for energy.
So you kept it real simple for me.
Yeah, I tried to make it as simple as possible. Life is too short to try to confuse you.
Let's give that website out one more time.
Yes, it's hydrocarb.com. Our symbol is HECC. So thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Watts, Hydrocarb. It's a publicly traded company. Again, the symbol is HECC. I'm Shelley Kraft. This is SNNLive. We're coming to you from the SeeThruEquity MicroCap Investor Conference, New York City, 2014. Mike, thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Shelley.
Good to have you.